Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video, this is my first Sinister Cup practice. Did it with my good friend and supporter Quinby. Shout out to this guy, one of the nicest people in the Pokemon Go community. He does a lot of really great work in the background from the Maryland area, I guess DMV, I think they call it. DC, Maryland, Virginia. I'm not really sure. Anyways, I'm gonna go with Drifblim, Steelix, and Medicham. I really like Drifblim in this cup, and I catch his Medicham, which is a really favorable matchup for me. Those counters are doing super effective damage. He comes in with Haunter, and then I think I decide to burn a charge move. I'm actually not sure why I didn't switch earlier. Mostly because I'm not as used to switching out as quickly, but did a pretty decent amount of damage. Even if this is Shadow Ball, it's going to do a lot of damage, but I didn't want his Medicham to farm me anyways, so it worked out okay. I think he ends up shielding this, which is actually really interesting play. And then I have to come back with Drifblim because I definitely cannot come back in with Medicham. And let's see what he decides to do. Shields are down. I really should have attempted to go for Shadow Ball. There's really no reason why I shouldn't have, especially with shields down. Maybe I thought I could have KO'd his Medicham, so that ended up being like a pretty decent switch for him. I have another Omnis Wind ready, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it. And I'm in like a pretty good situation after this. So I think he tries to counter me down, but man, that triple resistance on Drifblim, 2 because of the ghost typing and 1 because of the flying, is so deadly. Like, and then I switch into a Medicham because I don't want him to farm me anymore. So we're in a very good situation. And yeah, this particular match is over. I'm gonna hit this. Oh man, I gotta get used to this fighting animation thing again. I definitely missed that bubble on the top left-hand corner. So, what lines are people liking? What ghost types are they liking? What fighters are you liking? Are you liking Steelix or Bastiodon, which I think are the 2 favorites for steel tanks? Protopass, I'm sure some people will use Protopass effectively. And then I've seen some interesting strats. Shout out to the Go Stadium guys for streaming last night. I caught a little bit. I was like really busy doing work, so I couldn't catch the entire stream. So I'm gonna lead with Charm Gardevoir, which I think has some like really interesting play against some Pokemon, not Steelix. I don't know like if I should stay in that matchup. It comes in with Empoleon, which I guess if I had a bubble one, it would be maybe a little bit better matchup. I'd still definitely win. So I just charge up. I just farm up a little bit because these waterfalls are only hurting a little bit. And he comes back in with his bubble Poliwrath, which would have been a really nice mirror. I actually just did a video on Mudshot versus Bubble, so definitely check that out. And I do prefer Bubble, but I don't have a Bubble Poliwrath right now. I did get a 2-14-14 Poliwag, but it only goes to like 1470 or something. That's like really bad distribution. And I'm really thankful I got this last power up punch off. Unfortunately, not able to get the excellent, so definitely cost me a little bit of damage there. And I want to come back in with Gardevoir. I have 2 shields up. And he comes back in with Steelix. I'm a little slow. Well, he has the energy advantage. So, and he lands the Earthquake, which is so huge for him. And I land the Earthquake on my side. He has a little bit of damage already applied to the Steelix, so, and I'm not going to shield. This is actually not good for me that actually survived. It's actually worse for me because it allows it to build up a little bit more energy. He goes with Ice Punch, which wouldn't have KO'd me, but would have did like a decent chunk of damage. Especially, I think that's after. Actually, maybe, no, I don't think that would KO at full health. But does a pretty good amount of damage. So I see I have 2 eligible Pokemon already. So I'm thinking about it. Whether I want to just like go with this team. This recommended is pretty good. But I'm just thinking about like what Pokemon I'm potentially missing, what kind of gaps I need to fill. So I come with Poliwrath. So I'm like, Claydol, Haunter. It's a sign, hopefully, probably not actually, because it comes with Alolan Marowak. And I'm thinking about this matchup. And I decided to come in with Haunter. And I ended up shielding, which is a good thing I did shield, because that Shadow Ball definitely would have hurt. And I'm really debating between the two, and I think that I can get to 2 Shadow Punches, which is why I went for it. And I tried to undertap there, but confusion damage once it was applied just KO'd me. So I'm not in a great situation, and I think I don't shield. Aurora Beam would have did super effective damage. But he hits me with Moonblast. I'm not even sure if he has Aurora Beam. He might have just Moonblast, Future Sight. And I think I shield here because I don't want my Claydol to go up against. So, really interesting move on his part, switching back into the Alolan Marowak. Decides not to shield. And I really need to take it, and I end up taking out the Cresselia, which is huge. And then we mirror on the Poliwrath versus Claydol, but Poliwrath versus Poliwrath. Sorry, I should say that. And he has a bubble one up a shield, so there's like almost no scenario where I can win. I do have a Claydol in the back, but there's like very little chance I'm gonna be able to do the sack switch. And plus, I should know the counts a little bit better, but I don't. He ends up not shielding. But he's a whole shield, right? So it's like, it's not going to be possible for me. So I do. And I try to sack switch, and then he ends up just hitting me with the power-up punch. I probably just should have waited one more turn to do it, but I wouldn't have survived the bubbles to get to the power punch. Maybe not. It's a tough call. So GG, well played there. So I forget what I really like. Steelix in the back. Steelix can do a ton of damage. I'm gonna lead with Medicham. Machamp, obviously gonna beat other fighters. I think I'm gonna do a video on different movesets for Machamp, and see how it plays out. So positive matchup. I'm pretty sure, especially with Bubble. It's gonna take him 5 bubbles to get to. No, not 5 bubbles. 3 bubbles. No, okay. 11 energy per. Anyways, it's pretty similar in terms of timing. So I do shield, which I'm not. I was a little more worried about the ice punch, which I probably shouldn't have been worried about. So he does mirror the shield, and he comes in. I'm a little slow, because I'm trying to decide between what's better. Because Alolan Marowak is okay against Cresselia, but Steelix resists the confusion damage and Moonblast and Future Sight. In this case, he's carrying Aurora Beam. And I'm just trying to farm up a little bit additional energy. I don't think this is going to KO. And I kind of, just experimenting. I thought I probably should have did only 3 less bubbles, because I wanted to just be able to farm down this Cresselia, but this he's super close to Aurora Beam. Basically, if you undertap that confusion, then he would be at Aurora Beam, so I didn't want to, have to expend a shield. And then here, I have no idea what this Pokemon is. It's like completely invisible. He doesn't shield. And he KOs me. And honestly, I have no idea what Pokemon this is. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to shield. And then it's being a Bastiodon. I was like, oh my gosh. I can't believe I went into a lone Marowak, but that's quite alright. I probably could have farmed it up a little bit more, but I'm okay. And then he comes in nicely with the charge move. Gonna KO my Medicham. But here I have a lone Marowak. Unless he has Hydro Pump, I'm gonna win. I think he hits me with an Ice Punch, which is definitely the right play at that point in time, because it hits a little bit harder, but it was the match was already over by the time I switched into my lone Marowak. All right, and I think I just messaged him saying like, "Oh man, I couldn't see what your Bastiodon was." So a lot of really some like spicy picks that they come into play. Like some people are talking about Mawile as a spice pick, or Fortress, or Wormadam Trash, or Ferrothorn. Some like really interesting Pokemon from the Steel types. So Drifblim versus the lone Marowak, not great for me. I don't think. Actually, it's hard for me to say. So I build up. We're both running Hex, so we're both gonna get Shadow Ball at the same time. So I'm just trying to bait the shield, which and then I really should have came with Poliwrath, but I didn't, which is a huge mistake on my part. I was like, okay, these bites are gonna hit for neutral damage, and then I resist all the charge moves. So I'm really debating. So I decide to Earthquake. I should have baited, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like whenever this is like kind of a guessing game. So I do hit the second Earthquake, which is good for me. Then he comes in with a Alolan Marowak, which is an interesting pick. I decided not to shield, just because it has like quite a bit of energy built up. And then I come in with Ominous Wind. I should have maybe farmed up a little bit more, but I was really worried that it was going to get to a charge move, which it did. And then let's see if this is Shadow Ball or Bone Club. It ends up being Shadow Ball. And then I switch out to Poliwrath, which is like, when I did it, I was like, oh man, is this the right move? I don't know. And able to take out the Haunter before. And then I'm in like a pretty good situation, so I decided to just go for Power Up Punch. I really don't know why. If I had Bubbles, then I could just KO really easily with fast moves. So I think we have one more match. I read the comments on Hypno, and I agree. Like, I guess I wasn't looking at like Hypno's full diversity moveset, but I think it's also the case that like Hypno has so many moves that like it looks like it has like this like unbeatable coverage, but it would probably be the best Pokemon in the meta, but it would still have some checks to it. So I'm just building up a little bit of energy. Gonna hit the Bone Club, hoping to bait the shield, which I do. And here comes, and I just want to farm up a little bit, and this Steelix is going to be able to do a ton of work to this Cresselia. It effectively walls Cresselia. Cresselia is super tanky, like one of the tankiest Pokemon in the game. It's like up there in Umbreon type level tankiness. So it's like very good, and that confusion damage certainly does chunk away. And I'm not going to shield. Hits me with the Roaring Beam again. And I feel like I have 2 crunches at this point in time.
he comes with the Alolan Marowak, and they actually come for the Earthquake, which I'm not really sure was the right play, just because I'll end up like hitting it with which was good because they actually forced the charge move too because they couldn't farm me as much. And then I come back in with I think I come back in because in the last matchup against Gardevoir, I really didn't want my Poliwrath against Gardevoir, even though like if I had Bubble, I would feel a little bit more comfortable in that matchup. But because I didn't have Bubble, I didn't want to get charmed down by Gardevoir, so I kind of wanted to keep as much health on my Alolan Marowak rather than mirroring to Alolan Marowak, which would make a little bit more sense in most matchups. So anyways, a little bit of practice. We're going to see a lot of different battles. We're going to see a lot of different videos. We're going to try to crank out as much content as I can. On the 28th, we're going to be live streaming with Go Live, the one that produced the draft stream, the really fun one, on the 28th. So you're going to see a full out tournament. It's probably going to be like 10 people, but you'll get a perspective on each of the battles and how people play out and all that good stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Give you a good sense of the meta and some interesting picks that people might consider. So I'm going to gather a lot of really top battlers in Toronto to do that unranked tournament. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.